You're listening to The Gary Harris Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Howard Company plants along the Black Warrior River Basin. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage all throughout the day. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
The Gary Harris Show. UCM host Tider Insider TV. Crimson Tide Kickoff. Play-by-play for Alabama sports and sports director for WVUA 23. It's time for the Gary Harris Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Gary Harris Show for this Tuesday, May 28, 2024. I'm your host, Gary Harris. Justin Jones is manning the controls, taking your phone calls on this beautiful Tuesday morning in the first hour on the Pinnacle Park at North River hotline at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. Back with you after the Memorial holiday, a beautiful Memorial Day. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope everyone took a moment to reflect on what that day means to all of us with regards to our military personnel and veterans and the sacrifices that have been made for us by them on Memorial Day. We got a good show on tap for you today, getting back into the swing of things. I'll run it down for you in just a second. First, I need to tell you this hour of the Gary Harris Show being brought to you, as always, by Alabama Credit Union. Member-owned and not-for-profit. It really is just a better way of banking. Alabama Credit Union, loans for real life. Some rules and restrictions do apply. See if you're eligible for membership. Then join today and feel good about your money. And put a little extra change in your pocket. Find out more at alabamacu.com. All right, it's a Tuesday, but it feels a lot like a Monday. Since we had the holiday yesterday, we're getting back into the swing of things. So we're going to go with our Monday lineup for today because we always look forward to visiting with Rodney Orr every Monday morning at 9:30. Well, we pushed it back to today at 9:30. And the same with Casey Smith on golf. And, boy, we have a lot to cover in our golf segment with Davis Riley winning his second career PGA Tour event at the Charles Schwab Challenge, holding off world number one Scottie Scheffler and others. And it's his first career PGA Tour title by himself. His other win was last year with Nick Hardy at the Zurich Classic in the partner event. So just a huge, huge Sunday for Davis Riley. What that means, of course, for him is security. He's exempt now through 2026. That win opens up the door for him to be in the rest of the elevated events for this season. Gets him into the Masters next year. Just all kinds of positive things now for Davis Riley, who, to be quite frank, up until this point was having a very poor year, a subpar year. Had been a struggle for him. But as Casey has talked about often, it's not a talent issue with Davis Riley. He has a beautiful swing, one of the best-looking swings on tour, very accomplished as a junior player, great player at the University of Alabama, turned professional, won on the feeder tour into the PGA Tour, and then got a win last year with Nick Hardy, and now has a individual win and his second career win. So great for him. Also, of course, though, very tragic news came out of that Charles Schwab Challenge. Grayson Murray, two-time tour winner, won earlier this year in Hawaii at the Century Tournament of Champions. Played on Thursday and Friday, was a shot out of making the cut. Withdrew on Friday. Told his playing partners that he was not feeling well, and then was found dead on Saturday. The family releasing a statement saying that it was a result of taking his own life. And so there was a lot of heavy hearts that tournament was played with. Grayson Murray had some bouts with depression, had some alcoholism issues, but was engaged to be married, and by all accounts was doing a lot better. But again, it's another example of You never know what people are dealing with in their own lives, regardless of what it looks like from the outside looking in. And, tragic news came out of that golf tournament. We'll talk with Casey about that. Other weekend headlines, of course, Alabama softball on Sunday, getting it done. They leave this afternoon right after lunchtime to go to Oklahoma City for a 15th trip to the Women's College World Series. And we will have audio from the post-game press conference on Sunday with Patrick Murphy and the players. And, it's just one of those things where, again, as long as you got an opportunity, you got an opportunity. And Alabama's regular season was not up to the standards. It was the first losing season in SEC play in the history of the program. They only won one series the entire season in the SEC, and that was against Ole Miss. They were one and done in the SEC tournament, losing a heartbreaking game to LSU. Then the regional started slow. They beat South Carolina Upstate 1-0, and then they were tied 1-1 in the ninth inning with Southeastern Louisiana. And this was really the seminal moment of the season. Tied 1-1, and in the top of the ninth, they got a Riley Valentine 2-run homer. They wound up scoring 5 runs to win that game 6-3, as Southeastern did come back with a couple runs in the bottom of the ninth, but they won it 6-3. And then the next day against Southeastern again, 9 runs in the first inning on 10 hits. So that was 14 runs in 2 innings for a team that had been struggling to score. They win the regional. They go to Knoxville to take on a powerful Tennessee team in the Knoxville Super Regional. And on Friday, they lost a game that they should have won. Flat out should have won it. And then you're thinking, well, there's no way they're going to come back and win 2 in a row, especially after losing a heartbreaker like that. What they do on Saturday, they won a 14-inning classic against Tennessee. And then on Sunday, a grand slam by Riley Valentine at the top of the first, a nearly 3-hour weather delay, and then they come back out and they ride that 4-0 lead all the way to the bottom of the 7th. Brisky had pitched beautifully. She gets into trouble. She hits the leadoff batter, which is something you never want to do. Another batter got hit. A runner gets across, and it's 4-1 with 2 outs, but the bases were loaded. Beaver had come in out of the bullpen, Kayla Beaver, and you're facing one of Tennessee's best hitters with the game on the line, knowing that if she hits it out of the ballpark, you lose the game in walk-off fashion. If she gets a base hit, there's a chance you're going to lose the game. If she gaps one, there's a chance they might tie it up. But she hits a ground ball to short. Cahalan, who had a great game defensively, throws across to Espin. 6-3, retiring the final batter, and Alabama wins 4-1. And is off to the Women's College World Series. Is it unlikely? In my opinion, yes. I didn't see this team winning in Knoxville, but Patrick Murphy, to his credit, had said all along that it's about what's in front of you. He was very consistent with that. Obviously deserves a ton of credit, and they did keep what was in front of them, the focus. They got through the regional at home and then win the Super Regional on the road, and now they're going to play UCLA on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Central in the first game of the Women's College World Series. I'm going to be out there today after the show when the team gets ready to leave, and I can't wait to ask Murphy what he thinks about playing that first game. Does he like it? Because they're going to get out there this afternoon, and they're going to turn around and play quickly Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Good news is if you play early like that and you get that win, you get to sit back and enjoy the rest of that day's action. And, of course, the tournament's double elimination, the World Series is. But really great run for Alabama softball. And again, watching this team, where it came from to get to this point, when you look at some of the teams that did not make the Women's College World Series with the seasons that they had, and Alabama did, it's a testament to everything that Murphy preaches. Positivity, staying focused on what's ahead of you. And, that's sometimes as fans, sportscasters, that's hard to do. You look at, man, this team can't score. They've got this and that. And, he just kept the message of we're going to take it straight ahead. And he always believed that this team would find a way. So a lot of credit to Patrick Murphy and Alabama softball. Bama baseball, not only do they get into an NCAA regional, but they get a number 2 seed. I thought for sure they'd be a 3 seed. Not that it matters that much, 2 and 3, other than when you play that first game, you get to be the home team. So that does make a difference. If you're the 2 seed, you get the last at bat. And if you're the 3 seed, you get, you get the leadoff at bat. So Alabama goes to the Tallahassee Regional. Florida State's the number 1 seed. They're hosting. Alabama, the 2 seed. Central Florida, the 3 seed, a really good team. And Stetson, the 4 seed. So it's a strong regional. Central Florida is a good team. Alabama will have to play really well, pitch well, to win that game. But I like the fact that it's not a very far travel distance for Alabama. You've been to Tallahassee a number of times in regionals, so to be familiar territory for just the feel of that. And love the fact that, they're a 2 seed, even after they lost 2 of 3 at Auburn and then lost in the first round of the SEC tournament in South Carolina. The body of work, the schedule, all led up to a number 2 seed. And, of course, 11 teams from the SEC in NCAA regionals. Braves with some devastating news as far as their team over the weekend. Ronald Acuna Jr., torn ACL, lost for the season. It's the second torn ACL that he's had, both in different knees. But that's a big blow for a Braves team that already had lost Spencer Strider, their top pitcher, and is a team that has not been playing great. They've been playing okay. Now you lose Acuna Jr. Now, baseball is a little different than basketball. Basketball, one guy, and really football, too. I mean, if you lose your quarterback, you're a different team, You lose your star running back, you're a different team. But in baseball, Ronald Acuna Jr. is a terrific right fielder, but he's only going to bat 4 or 5 times a game. And I'm not lessening the impact of his injury, but what I am saying to you is you have 8 other guys that are going to bat every game. And there's more opportunities to cover up the loss of a star baseball player than there is in football or basketball, where one player has, quarterback touches the ball on every snap. All right. NBA, your star scorer, is going to maybe take 25 shots in a game. It's much more of a loss. Whereas in baseball, Ronald Acuna, is going to have 4 or 5 at bats in right field. He might have an opportunity for, 6 or 7 put outs in a game. He's not as prominent because baseball is a different game in terms of how you can deal with the loss of a star player. But it's still a blow for the Braves. There's no doubt about that. But a little bit different than in other sports. NBA, we're going to get a Boston-Dallas NBA Finals. Boston has already swept the Pacers. They won Game 4 last night. And the Mavs are on the cusp of sweeping the T-Wolves. They play Game 4 tonight, and they are up 3-0. No NBA team, keep in mind, has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the history of the NBA playoffs. And my guess is that the Mavs will go ahead and close it out tonight and at home. And then, but if they do, we're going to be a long time between basketball games, 9 days, because the NBA Finals is scheduled to start Thursday, June 6th, and that doesn't have anything to do with what happens tonight. In other words, if they were to go 7 games, if the T-Wolves had this phenomenal comeback and played, forced a Game 5, a Game 6, and a Game 7, they're still going to start the NBA Finals on Thursday, June 6th. So if the Mavs wrap it up tonight, will be 9 days between games in the NBA, between the start of the end of the conference finals and the start of the NBA Finals. Just the way it is. NASCAR, really a disappointing day at Indy and at Charlotte because Indy got delayed because of weather. Kyle Larson was trying to do the double, drive at Indianapolis, and then drive it at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. Terrible weather delay at Indianapolis. He tried to get to Charlotte in time, couldn't do it, and then they get rain delayed and weather delayed at the Coca-Cola 600, and they don't finish the race. Christopher Bell was the leader when they called it. He was the leader, so he gets rewarded the victory. Not a fan of that. I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't have carried it, held him over until Monday morning, and finished that race under checker. To me, there's nothing more frustrating than not finishing a NASCAR race under a checkered flag. And Christopher Bell will take it. He's not going to apologize and give it back. But just a really – and that's supposed to be one of the signature events for NASCAR. On Sunday night, before Memorial Day, it's a 600-mile race, and it finishes like that. Again, I don't get it. We'll have Matt Coulter on tomorrow. Why you wouldn't, with Monday being a holiday, just carry that race over to Monday morning and finish it then. They couldn't finish it Sunday night, they said, because of humidity and the track conditions after all of the rain. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. But it was a busy holiday weekend, and we're off and running here on the Gary Harris Show. In fact, I'm going to get to the break. It's 9:18. Phone lines are open on the Pinnacle Park at North River hotline, 205-342-9904. I'd love to hear from you guys and ladies out there on this incredible weekend that we just had. One other thing I definitely need to mention. Philip Planishek, Alabama men's tennis player, won the NCAA men's tennis singles championship out in Stillwater, Oklahoma on Saturday. It's the first time ever that an Alabama men's tennis player has won the NCAA championship. First time a men's tennis player had ever made it to the semifinals. And you talk about getting hot at the right time with these teams. Well, for Planishek, he was a good player. Don't get me wrong, really good player. Obviously qualified for he was not one of the players that anyone would have picked to win the NCAA men's singles tennis championship. But he mowed through that field in impressive fashion. And Saturday, after losing to a player from Columbia University that won the first set 7-6, he lost the first set in a tiebreaker, which is tough. You know, it's best of 3 sets, and you lose the first set and you lose it in a tiebreaker. But he rebounded to take those next 2 sets in commanding fashion. Just really an incredible accomplishment for Alabama men's tennis and for Philip Planishek. All right, 9:20, we'll get to the break. Phone lines are open. Rodney Orr coming up at 9:30. A huge recruiting weekend for Alabama football coming up. We'll visit with Rodney, of course, about that. Obviously, baseball, softball, and more. This is the Gary Harris Show on Tide 100.9 FM and 1230 AM WTBC. We'll be right back.
Los Tarascos has been serving Mexican favorites like burritos, fajitas, and quesadillas since 1999. Their new location is at 4100 Owen Parkway in Northport. And of course, you can find Los Tarascos in Tuscaloosa at 110 Skyland Boulevard. The bar areas feature big screen television so you can enjoy your favorite sporting events. Los Tarascos features Dale Boulevard West. Krispy Kreme is open 7 days a week. To see our complete donut, coffee, and espresso menu, visit our website at KrispyKremeTuscaloosa.com. Krispy Kreme, hot now and anytime.
Life doesn't wait for when your finances are in perfect order. It just happens. But no matter what surprises come your way, Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans, mortgages, and auto loans. They offer an easy application process and fast decisions so you can stay focused on feeling good about whatever life brings your way. Alabama Credit Union will be here to help make it affordable with great personal loans.
796, VIN number 3KPF5480X RE771137. Julio Jones Kia at 4301 Greensboro Avenue, Tuscaloosa, or 24/7 at buyfromjulio.com. TireRack.com.
As much as Innisfree has evolved, it will always be that place to escape and have a good time. Whether it's for a game day weekend, to reminisce on college days, or to create new memories, if you're looking for a good time, there's only one thing to do. Head to the Free at 1925 University Boulevard. And don't forget about the Lucky Lunch Meat and 3 special. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Get a meat and 3 vegetables for just $8.49. Or for a lighter appetite, try the Lucky Lunch soup, salad, or sandwich combo. I'll see you at the Free.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny and very warm today. Tuscaloosa's high 89. Fair tonight, the low 64. Tomorrow and Thursday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine both days. A chance of widely scattered showers. The high tomorrow 85, the high Thursday 82. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 78 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You see him on WVUA 23 covering sports and on Tider Insider TV on Tuesday nights. Don't miss a minute of the Gary Harris Show. Weekdays from 9 to 11 on Tide 100.9.
9:23. Welcome back into the Gary Harris Show. And we are back here on the program, and glad to have you with us. 205-342-9904 is the number if you want to join us on the Pinnacle Park at North River Hotline. You can give us a ring. I did not mention Shelton State baseball out in Grand Junction, Colorado for the Junior College World Series on Friday night. Bobby Sproul, the outstanding head coach of the Bucks, was inducted into the National Junior College Coaches Association Hall of Fame. And then Shelton State went 1-2. They were eliminated yesterday, but another great season to get out to Grand Junction. Obviously, we're hoping they would win the whole thing, but they were eliminated yesterday, went 1-2 in their trip there to Grand Junction, but still a marvelous season anytime you make it to the World Series. And for Coach Sproul to be able to be out there with us, obviously his family was there, but for the team to be out there too, by earning a trip to the Junior College World Series made it even more special for him. And, just a great, great opportunity to be out there and have his team out there with him. Just an amazing season for Shelton State. What a weekend. What a weekend. And also want to mention, if you follow the program, I support the Striker Strong Foundation, Striker Glenn, strikerstrong.org, and his dad, Robbie Glenn, former Alabama baseball player. And Striker is having a birthday today. He turns 9 years old, and we want to wish Striker a very happy birthday and would encourage you to visit strikerstrong.org to learn more about Striker and other children who are battling situations that are tough and how you can get involved and help those children. But happy birthday to Striker today, who turns 9 years old. Let me bring Justin in here because I've been talking so much. But what a weekend, man. And I want to get, we got a couple minutes here before we have to go to the break and come back with Rodney Orr. Just your take first on softball. I talked so much on the program about the offensive ineptness of this team this season, and then all of a sudden we're going to get to Tom here in just a moment, but just a quick thought from you, Justin, on what softball was able to get done.
Yeah, I'm going to have to eat some crow pretty much all week, I guess, until we play again, because I didn't think they would be able to turn it out. I still have some questions about the offense, but granted, Tennessee maybe had the best pitching at least in the SEC, and it played very tough against Alabama. We did only score in one inning in that last game to head to Oklahoma City. UCLA is going to be a tough challenge, but I guess if you're Murph and that team, you keep believing and putting faith in each other, then anything's possible.
All right, let's jump out on the Pinnacle Park at North River Hotline and welcome in Tom. Tom, we got about 3 minutes, man. How are you?
I'm good, Gary. How are you this morning?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, congratulations to Murph for another outstanding job. I'll tell you what, serve me some crow, too, because I'm one of the ones that were yelling about no offense, can't go anywhere if you don't hit the ball. Offense beats good pitching and all like that. I'm a lying ass. And I need crow, too. So pass it over, Justin. And but what about LSU? I told you when the weather got hot, they're a different team.
Yeah, I didn't mention the SEC baseball tournament. Yeah, they did what they did, but Tennessee beat them in the championship game. So Tennessee wins.
They were 11.
Tennessee went. Do what?
I said they were 11 seed, and they went further than most people thought they would.
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, that's what LSU does. I don't know that.
I know
you say that, but I don't know that anybody was surprised by them making a run. They get into that SEC tournament, but still Tennessee, deserves credit for winning the championship. And Tennessee tied for the regular season championship with Kentucky, then wins the SEC tournament championship. But yeah, LSU is a postseason warrior. That's what they are. A couple of those games they won were unbelievable games. It's a great tournament. For once, they didn't have any rain. It was unbelievable. We were disappointed Alabama got knocked out on the first day, but you're right. LSU and Tennessee was a great matchup in the final, and Tennessee gets it done. But for LSU, yeah, that's just and now they're a team to watch in the regional. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I'll tell you what a good they are, though. Golly, physically, they are They look really well.
Who's that now?
LSU.
Oh, absolutely. No, listen, the issue with them was never a talent issue. I mean, we knew how talented they are. I mean, they got year in and year out, they're going to have as talented roster as there is in college baseball. So, you can say, well, they get hot when the weather gets hot. You can also say they had a very underachieving regular season. You can also say that they played poorly to the point that with about 3 weeks to go in the SEC season, they were scrambling even to make it to Hoover. And, if they hadn't made it to Hoover, then they weren't going to make it into the NCAA regional. But they did, and you're right. Once they got there, they did what they do. So, but I'm not going to act like this was some amazing turnaround based on the fact that they don't have talent and they overachieved. They had this type of talent. This is the kind of team they probably should have been all year. So you could also say they underachieved for much of the regular season to put themselves in that position. But, yeah, they had an unbelievable run. That game they won against South Carolina after they were down 8 runs and then tied it up, and then they were down a run in the bottom half of the inning, and they walked it off. Just a phenomenal performance. And LSU and Tennessee had a great championship game, great SEC tournament, 11 teams from the SEC and regionals. So, yeah, SEC baseball speaks for itself.
Yeah, I got it. And the thing about it, though, is I want to talk about how they perform latter part of the season. But to your point now, they do have talent. But this year, as opposed to last year, here it is right here with LSU. This team had potential. Last year, the team was right from the beginning. And they were seasoned and ready to go with the pitching staff that they had.
Right.
This year,
that's true.
They were good, and they had potential, and then they finally, when the weather got warm, as I have pointed out many times, they lived up to the potential.
You're right. I give you 100%, no doubt about it. And now they're a factor going forward, and even though they'll be on the road in the regional, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they make it to Omaha. They're that good. Hey, thank you, Tom.
See you.
All right, 9:31, we got to get the break. Also did not mention the passing of Bill Walton, legendary NBA player, longtime broadcaster, unique personality. Really, anybody that I never met him, but I know a lot of people that did, and just said he was engaging and fun and interesting.
Field, go to skilltradesofwestalabama.com and find out more information about the 4-week Jumpstart program and take your first steps towards a rewarding career.
Tuscaloosa's Old Colony Golf Course is an 18-hole championship layout designed by 1976 U.S. Open champion Jerry Pate. Director of Golf John Gray and fitting specialist Bob Montgomery are PGA certified. Mike Shivitz is the head professional and director of the Tuscaloosa Junior Golf Program. Call today to secure a tee.
Reviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The The best station in the state, breaking down Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
.34, welcome back into the Gary Harris Show. It's time to jump out on the Pinnacle Park at North River Hotline and welcome in Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com, Tider Insider TV for his weekly visit, normally on Monday. But because of the holiday, we pushed Rodney back for one day, and glad to have him on to preview a huge football recruiting weekend, talk Bama baseball and softball with Mr. Tider Insider. Good morning, Rodney.
Good morning, Gary. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Let's jump in and begin with football because this is a huge recruiting weekend coming up, and a lot of visitors are going to be in, a lot of commits, a lot of uncommitted top prospects. So I know Alabama is looking forward to, as a staff, having all these guys come in over the 3-day weekend coming up.
Yeah. No, it's really changed. You know, it used to be January was the big month right before signing day when you would have all the players visit each weekend. It used to be a real doozy in January, late scramble, you know, but now these kids come in the summer. June's the big month, and Alabama has several coming in. It's really impressive, the group that Kalen DeBoer and Courtney Morgan and their staff have kind of put together. And this will be the first weekend, obviously, that they're going to be hosting kids and a lot of outstanding players, like you said, some committed, Latsier Brooks, Zamir Smith, Derek Smith, all outstanding players are already committed. Of course, Brooks is a dynamic receiver. Zamir Smith is a guy who can play a lot of different positions. He's really versatile, great speed. Probably a secondary, going to play in the secondary, but plays wide receiver, plays slot receiver, could play, running back some in high school. So he does a lot of different things. And then Derek Smith, of course, from Selma Southside, is a really talented player who plays both sides of the ball. A lot of versatility so far in this class, but he plays, Derek Smith plays on both sides of the ball, probably a safety on this level. But I think when you start looking at the names, some of the names that are going to come in, guys that are uncommitted, I think you start with quarterback. That's obviously the key position now. And Keelan Russell is a guy out of Duncanville, Texas, plays in a great program. He's got great height. Gary, he's 6'3", 6'4". I mean, when you look at him, actually, I sent his video to a former All-American quarterback and said, hey, tell me what you really think of this kid. And his comparison was Reggie Collier from back in the day. And, I mean, he's just really loaded with talent. Committed to SMU. We'll see what happens. I think this visit's really big. Some people think he might eventually end up here at Alabama. So he's a headliner. Ty Haywood is another headliner. I think he's a 5-star, offensive tackle, one of the top offensive tackles in the country. He'll be here. Some people think he'll end up at Oklahoma. But, when you get them on campus, you never know. He's out of Denton, Texas, really outstanding player. And several others. Jordan Davidson is a fantastic running back out of Mater Dei High School out in California. Marcus Harris is a great wide receiver out there from California. Charles House is a guy that's a defensive lineman. He's a 3-star rated player out of North Carolina, but I think he's better than that. When I watch his tape, I really like him.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just some of the kids. And another kid I'll mention, Andrew Olish is a tight end out of Pennsylvania that I really like. That's got great height. He's got a frame to fill out, and I think he's really athletic. So you kind of get the drift. There's a lot of outstanding players coming in.
Rodney, you mentioned the change in the calendar, and, of course, we got a signing period coming up in December for 2025, and, of course, obviously recruiting 2026 as well. When you have a big weekend like this or others that they're going to have during the month of June, when these guys come in, is Alabama pushing for commitments on the visit, or is it more just about get acquainted, you've got an offer, you can commit whenever you're ready, or do they go ahead while they have them here? How does that work? Are they going to be pushing for commitments from some of these guys this weekend to commit while they're on campus?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they would love to pick up a commitment, a flip from Keelan Russell or, Ty Haywood, obviously. I mean, I think, and again, Haywood, I'm hoping he shows up. There's been some speculation that he may not, the 5-star offensive tackle from Denton, Texas. We'll see. But, I mean, you get guys like that on campus. Yeah, you would love for them to go ahead and commit. I don't know that you really push right now. I mean, make that all-out push. Certainly you want to let them know, as you said, hey, we're ready for you to commit if you want to commit. But the way it is right now, Gary, you want to make sure, I think, that a kid is ready to commit before he does so, because with all the way recruiting is now with NIL and all of these things that and these teams certainly don't let up. You really just would prefer a guy, okay, if you're not 100% sure, then let's not pull the trigger. But you know what? If you can get a top-notch player, a player that you really want, that you've evaluated, whether he's a 5-star, 3-star, whatever, if you really want him in your program, yeah, I mean, certainly you're letting them know, hey, if you want to commit, you've got the opportunity.
Rodney Orr with us from TiderInsider.com, Tider Insider TV. Some news last week, Rodney, that the NCAA and the members from the major conferences agreeing to settle this $2.8 billion lawsuit against the NCAA and pay players back to 2016 or athletes for name, image, and likeness. It's a lot of money. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but the feeling seems to be that this could at least lead to some reform and some rules in place as far as NIL in the future. And, of course, you're talking about paying players directly. That's what this really is going to come down to, is these schools can pay players directly and also could affect the portal. It's hard unless you're a lawyer or a sports business analyst to break it all down, but just your thoughts on that decision to settle that lawsuit.
Yeah, I really haven't put a lot into it, but it's just pretty obvious. It's what we expected. I mean, I think we all kind of thought that it was headed in a direction where there would be direct payments from schools, and basically I think it's going to lead to contracts with players. And again, I don't know how that will impact the transfer portal and different things, but I think it's going to end up being basically like you've said all along. I mean, they're going to in some ways become employees of the university, the universities. So, I mean, that's the way I see it. We don't know. It could go in another direction, but it certainly appears that way. And there's got to be something done. I mean, I think where we have some law and order, so to speak, I mean, because it's pretty crazy right now. So hopefully they'll get there pretty soon. I think that most expect that, things will, over the next 2 years, things will get done in a way that would be beneficial for the future of college sports.
Let's get to Bama softball. They're flying out a little after lunch today from the Tuscaloosa Airport to OKC for the Women's College World Series. They'll play Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Central Time against UCLA. But your take on what Alabama was able to do, going up to Knoxville to that Super Regional, losing that first game in a heartbreaking fashion. Really, I thought Alabama outplayed Tennessee in that game, but didn't win it, coming back and winning a 14-inning marathon on Saturday. And then on Sunday, getting the grand slam in the top of the first before nearly a 3-hour weather delay and hanging on, leading 4-0 and winning 4-1 to advance to the 15th Women's College World Series in program history. That's the most by any school in the SEC. And doing it with a team that, quite frankly, toward the latter part of the regular season, didn't look like a World Series team. I didn't think that they were, but they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're mirroring this the basketball team, the way the basketball team ended up the regular season SEC tournament. People didn't have a lot of high expectations, and then they went to the Final Four, and then the softball team's kind of following that same path in some ways. But no, I think, like we said last week on Tider Insider TV, I really think that Patrick Murphy took the right route on this in terms of preparing his team mentally, because I mean, right at the end of the year, there was so much questioning, so many things being said. And, Murphy just said simply, he told his team, look, you know what? It really doesn't matter what we've done well or what we've done good or how bad we've played, how bad we might have finished, because there have been some bad moments. But what really counts is we've got a new opportunity. and I really thought that the way he handled that kind of took some pressure off, this team, because they've been under so much criticism. They really have. And so I think he did a masterful job there. And, I think he's been real low key himself for the most part. I think that's, his focus has been really pretty amazing. And I think it's trickled down to his team. I mean, I think we saw that. We saw that then going to Tennessee, and nobody really gave Alabama a chance. And I think after they lost that first game, that's really what's impressive to me, is that they could have folded the tent right then, and they did not. I mean, that was a disappointing loss, because I think most people say, just like you said, this team should have won that game. And, with all the things that have gone bad, all the adversity they've had all season long, it would have really been kind of easy for them to say, this is just who we are. But they did not. They came back, and how about that game, the game 2, just the way they were so resilient, hung there, and, eventually found a way to win that game and got to, and you said this last week, Gary, you said, really, if you're Alabama, your goal has to be get to the game. And that's what happened. And just amazing. The young lady did a fantastic job pitching yesterday, got the big hit, got the Beavers came in and, closed things out, man. That was there was a lot of nervous people, but I think this is I can't speak for Patrick Murphy, obviously, but just kind of following it, I think this has to be one of the most gratifying accomplishments that he's had.
Yeah, looking forward to I'm going to head out to the airport after the show and catch up with him and the players as they get ready to fly out to Oklahoma City. Of course, we'll have that coverage tonight at 5 on WVUA 23 News. And, of course, you and I will discuss it at 6:30 on Tider Insider TV tonight with softball and baseball, Rod. And I guess the thing that struck me yesterday when I was watching the selection show was I was nervous about Alabama getting into a regional. I felt that they would, but still was a little bit, had some anxiety. And then not only do they get into the Tallahassee Regional, they're the 2 seed, which shows you that they were easily in. And again, a testament to the conference in which they play. 11 SEC teams going to regionals. That's a record. But for Alabama, I like this matchup. It's not going to be easy. They're going to Tallahassee. Florida State's really good. Their first game is against Central Florida, who's really good. Stetson's in there as well. But it's not a long trip. These are all Southeastern-based teams, obviously 3 teams from Florida plus Alabama. I think it's a comfortable regional for the Crimson Tide, and wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the final there. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, I think, Rob Vaughn has done a really good job, given it's his first year. They've made a lot of progress, and you mentioned they played the best competition in the country. Here in the SEC, this is going to be nothing new to them. They're certainly not going to be intimidated or nervous. So I certainly would not think. I mean, they've been to some of the top places in the country, most competitive programs, and some of the really difficult environments. And they've had some great moments too. And again, I look forward to it. Don't really have a prediction. Don't know how you would predict it, but. Look, I mean, I think that they're in a great position right now. You mentioned the competition they're going to face and where it is, and great location for them. So excited to see how they perform.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. That, of course, that first game's critical against UCF, but I still think Florida State's the team to beat. But I think Alabama has a chance to get to a final game down there against Florida State, and if that happens, as we saw with softball, we see every weekend in every sport. If you give yourself an opportunity, and you never know what can happen. Would I be surprised if they won the regional? Yes. Would it shock me? No. And just glad that they've got that opportunity. Listen, Rod, Greg Byrne talked about when he got here, wanting to be competitive across the board. It's hard to do. He said, if we're going to scholarship it, then we're going to try to win at it. And you look at, we got a national champion over the weekend in a sport where Alabama's got a good men's tennis program. I think George Cusack's done a good job. The women's tennis program has had some really high moments, but this is not really a state where most of the recruiting has to be done outside the state. There's good tennis in Alabama, but not at that junior level that's elite. So you're recruiting across the country, you're recruiting globally. But to have Filip Poníšek win a NCAA men's tennis singles national championship is quite an accomplishment obviously for the program and for himself. But in the internet age, you follow these sports maybe that in the past you didn't track. But, you can with social media. And congratulations to Filip. And what a big deal for Alabama to win a national championship in a sport where really it doesn't have a ton of tradition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, certainly congratulations. What a great moment for the tennis program overall, as you mentioned. And, certainly, Gary, you never know how something like that could impact recruiting in a positive way, and you would certainly hope so. And but you're right about Greg Byrne in terms of the overall program. It was just funny because I was thinking as you were saying that, just like a week, 10 days ago, whatever it was, I remember somebody on Tider Insider complaining that, our programs, the Alabama programs, were not overall competing at the level that he had hoped. And, he kind of was tossing it on Byrne a little bit. And I'm thinking, well, what else do you want? It's look, I think that I think they're in a great position. And, I think people, too, sometimes, Gary, whether it's baseball or softball or football, whatever it is, they forget that the competition in the SEC and all of these sports is this. I mean, if you can compete in the SEC, then everything else is going to be probably, I don't want to say easy, but I mean, you're competing against the best of the best. And so when you get into these tournaments, these opportunities that you have, you're prepared for it. And I think we saw that with, softball, obviously. We saw it with basketball, and we've seen it with football through the years. Some of the best competition, the most difficult games you're going to have or competition throughout the season is going to be what you're playing there in your conference. So, I'm with you on the job that Greg Byrne has done overall.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And lastly, of course, we knew the class, but it's official. The transfer class was signed last week with Aiden Holloway, Houston Millett, Clifford Amori, LeBaron Filine, and Chris Youngblood. They joined those 5 transfers joined the high school signing class of Darion Reed and Aiden Terrell, as well as Naz Cunningham, for a class that's ranked, I think, second, as high as second, no lower than third. And Ronnie, that's significant. We only got about a minute here, but that's significant because Alabama just went to the Final Four. Now they're trying to go back and win a national championship. And this, you and I both know it, whether it's transfer portal or high school recruiting, this is how you do it. You got to bring in the talent. And Nate Oates is doing that.
Yeah. I think he's one of those guys you just watch him. He'll do it every year. I mean, I just think that's and I hate to say, because I know the expectations, all of a sudden, I mean, some of these people on Tider Insider think they're going to go undefeated next year, but I mean, it really, he knows how to manage and recruit and do all of these things. And it's pretty amazing what he does, what he's done, the way he remolded that team last year, and now he's gone out and done it again with these players. He's brought in all these great players. I mean, he's made Alabama. Look, you said they're number 2 in the country. I mean, look, he's made Alabama one of the top 3 or 4 preferred destinations of these recruits and these people that these kids that hit the portal. It's pretty amazing what he's done to elevate the basketball program just nationally.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think he's going to win a national championship. I really do. All right, Rodney, great stuff as always. And, of course, TiderInsider.com, still $48 a year. Your book, Bigger Than Bama, is available and selling well. Of course, Tider Insider TV tonight at 6:30. So you got a lot going on.
Yeah, and like you said, it's only $48 a year, TiderInsider.com. You get instant access with your credit card. If you prefer, there is an address there to send a check. And then you mentioned the book, Bigger Than Bama, RodneyOrg.com, or you can check it out on Amazon. There, it's $19.95 plus shipping and handling.
Thanks, Rod.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
All right, 9:53, and the YMCA is ready when you're ready for the Y. I love it. I love to say that. The Y is ready when you're ready for the Y. In other words, it's not going anywhere. 2300 13th Street, it's there waiting on you to make that commitment to join, become a member, and get started toward better physical fitness and a healthier lifestyle. They can help you with personal training, fitness classes, Silver Sneakers program for seniors, and then just a great community of people that are all working toward a goal of being a person that is more fit and healthier. And you need to start today. Don't put it off anymore. Go by and visit. They'll give you a tour, get you signed up, become a member, and you'll love the facility, and you'll love
Text.com/deal or text deal to 511-511. Text deal to 511-511. All dogs are unique. Your dog's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny and very warm today. Tuscaloosa's high 89. Fair tonight, the low 64. Tomorrow and Thursday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine both days. A chance of widely scattered showers. The high tomorrow 85. The high Thursday 82. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 79 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to the Gary Harris Show.
Goal line in, touchdown, Alabama.
On your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, 9:57. Welcome back into the Gary Harris Show. Wrapping up this first hour. It's been brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. Big second hour on the way. Casey Smith on golf at 10:30. We'll also hear from Rob Vaughn and Patrick Murphy in hour number 2 of the program. We're looking forward to visiting with you as well. If you want to give us a ring on the program in the second hour, we'll switch it over from the Pinnacle Park at North River hotline to the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline for hour number 2, but the number's the same, 205-342-9904. The Gary Harris Show will continue. Hour number 2 is coming up right here on Tide 100.9 FM and 1230 AM WTBC.
Promo subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. See totalbyverizon.com for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Nick Cope.
The Boston Celtics are back in the NBA Finals for the 23rd time in franchise history as they completed the sweep of the Pacers Monday night with a 105-102 win. Eastern Conference Finals MVP Jaylen Brown said this year is different for the Celtics.
We feel like we're a different team than we were last year and the year before that. I know everybody wants to continue to kind of pigeonhole us to what was happened in the past, but we've had a different team every single year. Time has gone by. Experience has been gained, and I think we are ready to put our best foot forward.
Brown averaged 30 points in the series. NFL media reports the Players Association is working on a proposal to revamp the offseason that would eliminate OTAs in favor of a longer training camp to lead into the start of the season. A formal proposal is expected this summer, and if approved, could go into effect for 2025.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Power company crews continue to work to restore power to areas impacted by yesterday morning's severe thunderstorms. Some 3,500 remained without power in Tuscaloosa and Bibb counties this morning. EPA has denied Alabama's application to implement a coal ash permit program because it does not meet federal guidelines. That will directly impact all 3 Alabama Power Company plants in the Black Warrior River Basin. Thursday, Alabama baseball begins play in the NCAA Tallahassee Regionals while the women's softball team starts play in the College World Series.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. The Gary Harris Show. UCM host Tider Insider TV. Crimson Tide Kickoff. Play-by-play for Alabama sports and sports director for WVUA 23. It's time for the Gary Harris Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Here we go, hour number 2 of the Gary Harris Show. Gary Harris and Justin Jones with you for another hour. Casey Smith on golf coming up at 10:30. Your phone calls are welcome on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline at 205-342-9904. That's 205-342-9904. This hour of the Gary Harris Show being brought to you as always by Patterson Comer Attorneys at Law. Paul Patterson and Mike Comer are dedicated to serving our clients. Integrity and excellence are the driving force behind the firm and its staff. Clients and prospective clients are treated with respect and care. And at Patterson-Comer, we invite you to contact us with any questions concerning legal issues that are a result of personal injury, automobile accident, wrongful death, product liability, 18-wheeler accidents. Again, our business is to take care of your needs. Call Paul in Tuscaloosa at 205-345-1000. Mike in Northport at 205-759-3939. The commitment to serve our clients does not stop at the end of the workday. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. PattersonComerLawFirm.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of services performed by other lawyers.
All right, we're open for phone calls. We had a good first hour. We talked about a lot of the topics making news in the first segment of the first hour, and visited with Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com. Right now, of course, we're available to take phone calls on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline, 205-342-9904. I want to get to some audio from Patrick Murphy and the softball team following their emotional victory in the Knoxville NCAA Super Regional on Sunday in Game 3, 4-1 over the favored Tennessee Vols. Now Alabama's headed off this afternoon to Oklahoma City. It was an emotional series after Alabama lost a heartbreaking first game. They came back to win a 14-inning thriller and then win Game 3 on enemy soil. And now they're headed off to the Women's College World Series. Here's Patrick Murphy on Sunday evening. It was the evening because they played the top of the first, hit that grand slam by Riley Valentine, and then didn't get back started until after 6 o'clock. But here was Patrick Murphy Sunday evening following the huge win.
And seriously, it goes for everybody here because, you want it to feel like a championship event. Neutrality somewhat because obviously it's Tennessee's field, but you guys were great. So kudos to Tennessee for hosting, first class. Dylan, the event manager, was awesome. Our hotel was terrific. The Embassy Suites downtown Knoxville. So if you need a hotel, go there. It was great people. But, the word for me the last couple of weeks was redemption. And, we had our first losing season in 28 years in the SEC. And, I kept saying and preaching that the best was yet to come. You got to believe it. And it started with me. I had to believe it as well. And one day at practice, we decided to put up, everybody's going to do one thing the rest of the year to help the team win. And mine was to have a short-term memory. Because if you really knew me, you would know that I don't have that. I dwell. And I committed that day. And good, bad, or ugly, I was going to forget. So if somebody had a bad at-bat, you're going to get them next time. And they bought in. And now, like Alex said, the 15th World Series in our history, the most gratifying year. I said that last year, but I'm going to repeat it this year. The most gratifying year of my career is right now. I could not be more happier for these two young ladies and the entire team, the school, the athletic department. A lot of fans of Alabama softball weren't sure about this year. And the true fans stuck with us. And two very resilient young ladies sitting next to me. And I'm so happy that Miss Beaver and Miss Valentine get to go to Oklahoma City with the Bama on their jerseys.
All right, we'll go into questions. Please wait for a microphone. Sorry, Rhiannon.
Yeah, Riley, obviously, you only needed one big hit today. This is again like yesterday, but can you take us through that at bat and kind of what, how that felt to be in that moment?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't really remember. I feel like that was forever ago. But, I've seen Gottschall that was like at bat number 6 or 7 off her. So I knew the stuff that she had. I knew how she was pitching other girls and bases loaded, 2 outs. So what? And I just saw a good pitch and put a swing on it. And honestly, I didn't think it was going out, but it scraped right over. And hey, I'll take it.
Exactly.
Coach, can you just talk about how good Jocelyn was today and how she kind of paved the way for your success?
She was awesome. When you give a freshman the ball in a game like this, you take a deep breath a little bit. And she has just turned it on ever since, I think it was Arkansas. We played at Arkansas, and it was a tough series, but she dominated her game in the second game. And ever since then, she has just churned out start after start after start. And she pitches like she's a senior. She absorbs everything that she gives her. Poker face is awesome. I think you guys probably noticed that. Nothing gets to her. She's confident. She's the fastest working pitcher we've ever had. And the defense seriously has to sprint to their spots because she's pitching like that. But for her to do what she did, to give us, 6 full innings? Or did she get it out in the 7th? Okay, so 6 1/3, and then Beaver gets the next 2. I mean, couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, Patrick, was there any concern, you get that Grand Slam and then weather delay,
yes.
3 hours? Was there concern there?
Yes, there was, because I was thinking, we had all the momentum, and then boom, it stops. I really was. But Brisky handled it perfectly, Obviously, the game kind of started brand new for her, because we got out there, she threw maybe 2 pitches, and then we called off. So it was like, the first time she'd gone out there. So I might have overthought that a little bit in my head. I didn't verbalize it, but I was a little worried.
And then just last question. I know it's kind of been, but the job Marlee Jalich's done behind the plate with all day yesterday and today. I mean, just the Warriors she's been.
And, throw in, she broke her arm in the Kentucky series. She got hit by a pitch. And this one was awesome. And, she came back. Marlee's probably 85%, maybe 90%. But you got to credit Riley, Marlee, and Lance McMahon, our pitching coach, has done one hell of a job with all 6 on the staff. And, to call pitches for 14 innings yesterday, that's a lot. And then to do it again in a game like this, it's just kudos to all the catchers, all the pitchers, and Lance.
Coach, can you just talk about the hot starts, all 3 games, scoring in the first inning, and how that kind of propels you to success going forward?
It's huge, and I don't remember who said it in the dugout, but somebody yelled it. Was it you? You might have. But somebody yelled, here we go again. And it's huge. And it hadn't been like that. It was pretty dry. We had a dry offense for a while. But Kristen White was awesome. Today wasn't the best game, but the first 2, she was great. Regional, she was awesome. But scoring first, obviously, and the big hit in the first inning, it might have felt like it was a 10-run grand slam. Because I know, if you get too many socks in the top drawer, it's not a good thing as a hitter. You're thinking too much. So the start was awesome.
Anything for Kayla?
You got off the hook. Hey, I meant to say this, but congrats to Karen, her team, the staff, back-to-back SEC champions. That doesn't happen, And kudos to every one of their seniors. Classy, great kids. You feel for all of them, but they play the game the right way. And, they're a worthy opponent, and it sucks that one of us has to stop. But it's just been a pleasure playing against Karen and her team. So just wanted to congratulate them.
Closing out there, bases loaded, 1 out. What'd you do? How did it feel to close it out?
Oh, gosh. I can't even describe this feeling right now. I really can't. I can't be any more proud of this one right here. And everybody else on this team, gosh, I'm going to cry. This moment was something I've dreamt of, and I get to do it with my sisters, and I can't be more thankful for this. And going out there, I was like, you know what? We got this. My defense has my back. The offenses had it this whole entire weekend, and I just had to trust my stuff and trust, Lance and Murph and everybody else. They had confidence in me, and so I do have confidence in myself. And again, it just goes back to them. What I do doesn't matter if they don't have my back, and I got here because of them. And so I just want to tell you how proud I am of them.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you all for.
All right, there you go. That's the Sunday evening post-game press conference for Alabama softball with Patrick Murphy, the head coach, Riley Valentine, the player that hit the grand slam, which provided Alabama's offense. They didn't score after that. They did not score in innings 2 through 7. But that 4-run first inning with the grand slam by Valentine was enough. And Alabama gets the win 4-1. Also, Caleb Beaver, star pitcher, who came in to close it out in the 7th when Tennessee threatened to actually win the game. They had a run across, and they had the bases loaded with the winning run at the plate. And, Beaver was able to come in and get the final 2 outs after Brisky had pitched a beauty. Brisky through 6 innings was just almost, unhittable. And then in the 7th, she hit the leadoff batter. She hit another batter. It was very, very close. I didn't think she got hit. But anyway, she gives up a run, gets the bases loaded, but had an out. And so Beaver had to come in and get 2 outs, and she did so without giving up a run. She got a pop-up, I think, in foul territory, and then got a ground ball to short. Jahalen threw across the first in the game, and Alabama won it 4-1. And as we've talked about all morning, now it's off to Oklahoma City. They're flying out of Tuscaloosa Airport. We're going to be out there at around noon to get some interviews and get video of them leaving. Then they'll fly out and turn around and play on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. All right, it's 10:15 here on the Gary Harris Show. And weather is great. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's going to be that way now. Summer is here. And so golf is a big part of summer, and so is getting out by the pool. And you can do both at Tall Pines Golf Course in Tuscaloosa. Call for a tee time. It's open to the public, 205-556-1232. 205-556-1232. But also consider a membership, which gets you golf and that big, beautiful pool, clubhouse, all types of opportunities for socializing. So Tall Pines Golf Course in beautiful East Tuscaloosa over there in the Woodland Forest community is open. Call for a tee time, 205-556-1232. The pool is open. And also consider getting a membership at Tall Pines Golf Club. All right, we're going to come back with more of your phone calls. If you want to give us a ring on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline, 205-342-9904. And then we're also going to hear from Rob Vaughn, Alabama baseball coach, after the Crimson Tide was selected for an NCAA regional, the Tallahassee regional, along with the top seed Florida State. Alabama's the 2 seed, Central Florida the 3 seed, and Stetson is the 4 seed. So the Gary Harris Show on a busy Tuesday. Feels a lot like a Monday, but it's a Tuesday. And we're recapping the week.
Subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. See TotalByVerizon.com for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
Los Tarascos has been serving Mexican favorites like burritos, fajitas, and quesadillas since 1999. Their new location is at 4100 Owen Parkway in Northport. And of course, you can find Los Tarascos in Tuscaloosa at 110 Skyland Boulevard. The bar areas feature big screen television so you can enjoy your favorite sporting events. Los Tarascos features daily happy hour specials, and for the best Mexican cuisine in West Alabama, remember, the name is Los Tarascos with locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny and very warm today. Tuscaloosa's high 89. Fair tonight, the low 64. Tomorrow and Thursday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine both days. A chance of widely scattered showers. The high tomorrow 85, the high Thursday 82. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 82 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Follow the Crimson Tide on their journey to another national championship. Touchdown, Alabama! On your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, 10:20. Welcome back into the Gary Harris Show here on this Tuesday morning. And a beautiful day here in late May, and quite a weekend that we've been recapping and talking about all that occurred. Filip Poniczek winning a national championship for Alabama men's tennis in the NCAA men's singles tennis championship. Softball going to the Women's College World Series for the 15th time. baseball in an NCAA regional, football getting ready for a huge recruiting weekend. Just so much going on, and it's been a fun show. All right, speaking of Bama baseball, we were a little bit nervous. I was about Alabama getting into a regional. Felt like that they would, but they get a 2 seed down in Tallahassee. The NCAA baseball selection show yesterday morning at 11 a.m. Alabama going down to Tallahassee, which is I think a short trip, easy. So Alabama, I think, will be ready to go. They'll open up against Central Florida on Friday. Here is the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Rob Vaughn, reacting yesterday to Alabama's selection into the NCAA Tallahassee Regional.
So how excited are you to be in a regional once again?
No, it's huge. I mean, year one here, credit goes to these kids, man. They worked their tails off all year, and it was a group that came together kind of for the first time in August. A lot of new faces, a lot of new players. And, man, it's just been a fun ride with them so far. So for it to get to kind of culminate and them getting to get a postseason appearance is awesome. Awesome for them. Really proud for our coaches and all the work they put in. So excited to go. But, we've been working all week, and the message last week was not let's wait and see if we're in. It's we need to get to work to go win a regional, because I don't think that's the ceiling for this group. So we're excited to get to Tallahassee and compete against the other really good teams and see what we got.
And you guys, you played a key role in helping this program get to its first back-to-back regionals since 2013 and 14. So what does that mean to you?
I mean, it's obviously, means a lot to I think all the hard work that just goes in. Those 3 assistant coaches in there spend so much time away from their families, so much time preparing, so much time for just pouring into this program, and for them to get the opportunity to kind of see the fruit of their labor is pretty special. So really happy for those 3, really grateful for those 3 guys, and extremely grateful for this team, and so I think, we came here with the vision of doing stuff that hasn't been done here since the 90s. And I think the foundation is starting to be laid, and this group has a chance to knock the door down. So excited to get to work with them.
And you guys are heading to Tallahassee, so how cool will it be to play in a place that you have not been to before?
Yeah, I've been to Florida State since 14. We were, when I was at Maryland, we were in the ACC. We went down there in 2014. Coach Martin was still the coach there at the time. Obviously know Link Jarrett really well. Link's a good dude. They came and played here this fall. We're actually going to play down there next fall. So, be cool. Him and JJ are really close friends, talking almost every day. So, you got 4 really good teams. Stetson is probably one of the best 4 seeds in the tournament, and then you look at UCF and the job they've done, a new coaching staff in there. They've been really good all year long. And then Florida State's Florida State. I mean, they've got one of the best pitchers in the country in Jamie Arnold, and an offense that can really bang. So, it's going to be a good test, a really tough regional. But man, this time of year, you just want to keep playing. Just get out and get a chance to keep playing, and anything can happen when you get to the postseason. So, we'll see what we got, but excited to get to Tallahassee.
What kind of challenge does regional play present compared to a typical weekend?
Yeah, I think just preparation. You can play 3 different teams and have 3 different styles. You have to prepare to play a team that you may never end up facing. You might prepare to see Florida State all weekend, and you lose, they win, whatever the situation is, and then you don't see them. So in a in a regular weekend, you're kind of playing the same team 3 games in a row, and you're used to the style of play. You kind of settle into the style of play. You might have a team that lines up in slugs, then you might have a small ball team, then you may have a run team, then you have a pitch first team. So a lot of different looks, and you've got to prepare for all of them, which a lot of time and effort has to go into that. But man, this is awesome. That's why you play some of those games like we do in Frisco early in the year. It kind of prepares you for this. It's 3 regional type teams. We played there in Frisco. Shoot, I think all of us that were at that tournament are in the postseason. Indiana, Dallas, Baptist, Arizona. So that's a regional weekend we played there, and it's a chance to go run it back this weekend.
And what do you guys need to do as a team to come away with a regional title?
Yeah, I think you have to play one game at a time. I've learned that. I think it's so easy to kind of put the cart before the horse and say, hey, we win game 1, what do we do in game 2? We're going to get up against a really good UCF team, a really, really talented UCF team. And if we start looking ahead to Florida State or looking ahead to game 2, that's where you get in trouble. In regionals, I've done it long enough. You have to go win innings. You're not trying to win games here. You're trying to win innings, and you're trying to get to the next one, then you figure it out when you get there. So that's kind of the approach we're going to take to it. Like I told our guys last week, it's not about getting in. It's about doing everything we can to go win this thing. So we're going to run out and have a good practice today and tomorrow, hopefully a good one Wednesday morning before we get out of here, and get these guys ready to rock and roll.
All right, there you have it. Good stuff from Rob Vaughn, breaking it down. As he said, it's a tough regional. Anytime you're playing a regional on the road, it's tougher. But at the same time, man, you just want a chance to play. You just want an opportunity to play. And Alabama has that. And as I said earlier with Rodney Orr, I think that they are the number 2 seed, and I think that's right. And I think that they're going to beat UCF in that first game. And I think that it's going to wind up coming down to them in Florida State. And certainly Florida State has the edge at home and has had a better season on paper than Alabama has had. But, again, you don't play them on paper. And it wouldn't surprise me. Would not shock me if Alabama goes down there and wins the regional. And that would be awesome. Just keep this season going because this Bama baseball team has been resilient. They lost Riley Quick really before the season even got going good. That impacted the pitching staff, obviously. Big, powerful, hard thrower that was going to be a weekend rotation guy for you. And you lose him. And then Ben Hess, who is also a big, strong, powerful flamethrower, did not have the year that we had hoped, but he was better down the stretch, and I think that bodes well for the postseason for Alabama baseball. So we're going to be watching them closely. All right, it's 10:27 here on the Gary Harris Show, and when we come back, I've been looking forward to this segment with Casey Smith because we got a lot to cover in golf, and really pumped up to discuss Davis Riley's second career PGA Tour victory, but the first by himself. He won the team event last year with Nick Hardy, and not only did he win, he closed it out in style. He won by 5 shots, and that's hard to do on the PGA Tour. And he had Scotty Scheffler with him on Sunday playing head-to-head with him in the final group. So, monumental accomplishment for Davis Riley, plus, of course, the passing of Grayson Murray.
This can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Since 2011, Billy's Sports Grill, located on Main Avenue in historic downtown Northport, has been serving their legendary signature chicken sandwich, award-winning wings, and handcrafted cocktails. Billy's is also the spot to watch all your favorite sporting events with big screen, high-definition televisions, both dining rooms, at the bar, and outside on the beautiful patio. Come by and say hello to Kim and Lisa, the Billy's Management Dream Team. Billy's, good food, good friends, and good time.
Covering University of Alabama sports, as well as the national and local scene as well. The Gary Harris Show, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, 10:31, 29 minutes in front of the hour of 11 o'clock, and you hear that music, it's time for Casey Smith on golf, and we have a lot to cover today, both good and bad. Good morning, Casey.
Good morning, Gary. Hope you're doing well. We do. We have a lot of exciting things to cover today.
Yeah, we do. Let's start with a tragic story and go ahead and discuss this at the top, because Grayson Murray played in the Charles Schwab Challenge on Thursday and Friday. I think he was one shot below the cut line on Friday, a very good opportunity to still make the cut. And he told his playing partners that he was not feeling well. He withdrew. And then, as we know, was found dead on Saturday. And now his family has, they released a statement saying that his death is self-inflicted. We know that in the past he had battled some depression, had some alcoholism issues, but all appearances were that he was doing well. Casey, he was engaged to be married and had won it the Century Tournament Champions earlier this year. And again, we never know what people are dealing with in their own lives, but everybody was certainly stunned on Saturday.
Yeah,
get that news.
I agree with you. It's a reminder every day that you just don't know what people are going through and what they're doing in their normal everyday life. And, he bogeyed 3 holes in a row, obviously 14 under 1, so not a big, deep number relative to par as most weeks. So you're right. He was in it 2 under the first round, and he shot, he was 3 over. He bogeyed 14, 15, 16 when he walked off. So you don't know if that triggered it. The greatest thing about it is he had listened how he saved about a year ago. And so that was comforting to know. And his parents, I respect them for addressing it to maybe help others and sort of letting people know there wasn't speculation. But, 2-time winner. And no matter how good he had it, at times you would think from the outside, he obviously had a lot of struggles going on the inside. And, it lets you, reminds you just to be a little bit more careful with your words with people and respect what they're going through.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The decision was made with his family's blessing to go ahead and continue the tournament. And the Charles Schwab Challenge is a very, prominent tournament. And of course, Ben Hogan's home course, and the course has been redone. It had rave reviews. And for Davis Riley, he had the one win last year with Nick Hardy, his buddy, in the Zurich Classic, but had a subpar year. There's no other way around it. He had not played golf to his standard this year and then put it all together this week. And not only did he win his first individual PGA tournament title, but he held off world number 1 to do it, paired with Scotty Scheffler in the final group. Granted, he had a 4-shot lead, but he finished that tournament with a 5-shot lead. So not only did he win, but he really was never on the back 9 in trouble of losing. As long as he just, made some pars, he was going to win. What a victory for Davis Riley. And in addition to tour status through 2026, elevated events, the Masters next year, all the things that come with a victory, what do you think this does for his psyche going forward?
Oh, it's got to just put him on cloud 9. If you can win, he win there on a, newly renovated golf course. It's playing very difficult, and a tournament that has, you got the best guy in golf, no doubt, chasing you. And so that 66, 64, 66 opening for Davis put him in the catbird seat, and he held on to really win a convincing tournament. He won that 1975 Stingray as well as part of it, and he got his checkered jacket and his home state. So probably a great feeling. He's probably having himself a pretty good day today. I would think he's got to be thinking, I was listening to his coach some today talk, and really found 175 miles per hour ball speed through seems like a little bit more of an effortless swing by getting some of his lower body. And it sounds like what he's been battling has just been, synchronization in your golf swing. Body and arms weren't really synced up, and that's what's led to some sporadic play. And it just all sort of clicks. And so that's the thing about golf in a nutshell, in addition to, the best players in the world being out there and the fields being very deep. But he really, he'd only made 8 cuts in 54 events. And he's won twice, right? So, it tells you he hasn't had it easy, but you don't have to play well, but 1 week. I think he's got the game to play better in more consistent fashion, given his swing is so phenomenal. He really does have incredible golf swing that holds up under pressure. It should when you have that type of mechanics. There's less room for error in such a efficient golf swing. So he's still young, and this might be that thing to give him an individual win, not just a team win, to propel him on. And he gets him a 2-year exemption. He gets him all the majors. I mean, he's going to get to go play in the Open Championship now. He wasn't in the Open Championship field. He's not in the U.S. Open field. He's going to go play in the U.S. Open. So really big, really excited for Davis Riley. Congrats to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he becomes another multi-event winner from Alabama. And, again, it's a lot of guys out there on tour.
Good week out there for our guys. Sepp Straka from Birmingham finished 5th. Shelton finished 9th. And Hodges finished 12th. And Well, that's really making some, headway. Lee Hodges continues to play really good golf, and that's encouraging as well. He's cashing checks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Absolutely. All right. Justin Thomas obviously did not play. Neither did Nick Dunlap. Justin had a really positive performance at the PGA Championship. He's still got 2 majors left with the U.S. Open and the Open Championship. What have you seen from him lately? Do you think he's got a chance to not only contend for some victories, but to win a tournament before this season is over?
I mean, you can see if Davis Riley didn't play this week, and this would have probably been a great week for him to play, given a ball strikers type course. And you don't have to make as many. That's the hard part of that tour for JT, I think, right now. A lot of the regular events, they're so soft that it's set up the same way, and it's a 20-under-plus week, and he's going to play better under pressure, under the gun, where score is not as deep and far because he's not making as many putts over 4 rounds, right? And so that's why I think those type of events would have been a great one. I think he can win out there. I think he can win every week, any week. He is that talented. There just is a really incredible player at the top that's hard every week. I mean, it's sort of what Tiger said a few weeks ago. Scotty putts average, he wins. If he putts, pretty bad, he finishes in the top 10. And if he putts decent, he blows us away. And so sort of a average putting week for him, and he almost won. And so that's who they're battling a lot. And every single one of those players, not now, I've heard 50 of them talk about it's superior golf to what they're playing. And right now, it's actually statistically in line with Tiger Woods' 2000 year. And so for a Justin Thomas, who's a very talented player and having some resurgence, that's the guy that makes it hard to win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, some news this morning that kind of caught me off guard, and that's Lexi Thompson going to announce, according to media reports, that she's going to retire after this season. She's only 29 years old and one of the most prominent players on the LPGA Tour. What do you make of that news?
Yeah, there's always been some mental health potential issues there, and who knows if what just happened maybe inspired some change in health. And then I've always heard from teachers that they thought that her move at the ball was going to have a result in really tearing up her back. And the way she, really leveraged ground into back. And you've got to use ground force, but there's ways to do it. So maybe one of those two things, or maybe she's 29, she's had a big career, made a lot of money, a lot of endorsement money. I'd say she's probably at least net worth of $50 million or more. She might want to be a mom, right? She might want to be a mom and actually settle down and get a boyfriend. And I think she's, had to play the professional, since she started playing out there, as a team. So, congrats to her on a great career, and it's crazy to see someone go out so early, but she hadn't exactly been on top of her game the last year or so, and there may be some contributing factors.
All right, Casey, I want to get back to, I was getting a couple texts from the TV station and got distracted for a moment. People don't seem to understand I'm doing a 2-hour radio show, and they want to discuss stuff with me about my TV side of it tonight. But Nick Dunlap didn't play this weekend. This week? Is this an opportunity? Is he kind of trying at this point to hit the reset button? What do you think's going on with his team? It's been a real struggle for him. We know the talent's there. We know the exemptions and all that. But still, this is the PGA Tour, and you can get buried in a hurry out here. It's at a point now where you just want to see him start making some cuts, right? You just want to see the guy play better.
Well, I listened to Ludwig Aubert speak yesterday on T-Born Olsen, the Stanford number 1 player who's turning pro and won the PGA Tour U. He's played some events, got a brother on tour. He was telling him, they called him on live air, about just embracing it and being okay with not playing great. And Ludwig's been a little bit of an anomaly, but he talked about how hard and tough it is, and it made me, knowing that we might have discussion about Nick. And I just think that it's really hard out there. And when you hear those type of guys say that it's really hard, and it's going to be different, and there's just going to be a lot of, look at Matthew Wolf. Same thing happened to him, and he went to live. It's hard for those young guys to find their way. So hopefully they're going to focus on some of that, create some stability for him, and letting him just go out and play golf. So hopefully any week off, they're using that to really tighten up everything, just to let him be free to go really do why he's out there, just to go play good golf.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get on a little bit of a roll here and kind of get. Do you feel like he's lost some confidence?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just really hard. There's so many good players, and then he's trying to figure out course and where to stay and where to eat, who to travel with that week, and new caddy, and it's just like all these crazy things at once. That's why having that second year of exemption next year and will really help him. He's already done it once. Let's do it again. And maybe he scrapes stuff out the rest of this year. I said from the beginning, let's just see if he can get his card without that exemption number. And right now he's tracking for that. And that's a win for him.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to, if he just finishes inside the top 100 without that, other win points, and he's tracking to be right around that, that's a big win for him. And you should see that number then go up next year, see even better.
All right, we saw the PGA Championship. We talked about the intersection from the LIV Tour with the PGA Tour. It seems like, at least on the surface, that all the chatter about these two tours coming back together has kind of slowed down a little bit. I don't see, obviously we're going to go through the entire 2024 without any type of agreement. Do you think they'll be back together in 2025? Because I'm sensing that there seems to be a little bit of a stalemate there.
I do think that they're going to. I think they're going to get together. There's too much to lose for both sides. I think you see that this window maybe have opened. I think Tiger Woods now being very involved. Just where do they lie in this process? The people that are leading the charge. And I know I'm in negotiations every day. Things don't just happen overnight, especially at that type of scale. And I heard Tiger allude to that too. So, just because you get a deal or an offer doesn't mean the right offer. So I'm sure knowing how big this is on a scale, there's just a lot of details to work out. I still think that 2026 to start the year is when they will start this up. Maybe before that, but I do think by 2026 something happens. I don't think you're going to see them start the year next year. It's just too late now.
All right, Casey, let's give us an NCAA championship, men's golf championship update.
All right, because Alabama wasn't in it, I traveled yesterday, so I really have not. I was planning on turning it on this afternoon. I know that Tennessee made it on the Monday golf. I was reading about that because I got a friend that's out there. Your live results right now, you got Illinois, Vanderbilt, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida State, Auburn, Ohio State, and Georgia Tech in the top 8. Illinois is smoking everyone.
Yeah, they really are. They're was a 16-shot advantage, it looks like.
Yeah, and so it's in real time, and so you're going to see, you never know how it changes and correlates to match play, but Vanderbilt's the team to beat. I think Vanderbilt and Auburn are the two teams to beat. They were the teams to beat going in. So I'm going to take Vanderbilt, I think, to win it all.
All right. It's a good time for golf right now. We're into
quarter win 6, by the way, and then Harry Higgs, former PGA Tour winner, won back-to-back weeks on the Korn Ferry Tour. So golf's in a great place.
Well, maybe Nelly Korda's the reason that Lexi Thompson's retiring.
Might be.
She's just kind of taken over. One time that was kind of Lexi's spot as the preeminent golfer on the LPGA Tour. Well, good stuff, buddy. Appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Gary. Have a great one.
All right. You too. Casey Smith on golf. It's 10:47 here on the Gary Harris Show, and we got one segment to go. And would love to hear from you. I'm surprised more people haven't weighed in on this amazing weekend that has just been concluded with Alabama softball winning the Knoxville Super Regional, baseball headed, and Alabama softball headed to the Women's College World Series, baseball headed to the Tallahassee NCAA Regional, We talked about Filip Poniczek winning the NCAA men's tennis singles championship. Of course, football getting ready for a big recruiting weekend coming up. Busy time, even though school's out. A lot going on with the University of Alabama sports. If you want to weigh in, you can give us a call on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline, 205-342-9904. One segment to go. We'll be right back after this.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of The Game, we're going to be live in Sandestin for the SEC spring meetings. Kalen DeBoer makes his first appearance for the SEC. We'll talk about what's happening in Sandestin. We'll feature Mike Detillier and a lot more. Starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa.
8831. That's 800-294-8831. What do you have to lose? Call 800-294-8831. Again, 800-294-8831.
Tuscaloosa's Old Colony Golf Course is an 18-hole championship layout designed by 1976 U.S. Open champion Jerry Pate. Director of Golf John Gray and fitting specialist Bob Montgomery are PGA certified. Mike Shivitz is the head professional and director of the Tuscaloosa Junior Golf Program. Call today to secure a tee time at the Tuscaloosa Championship Golf Course. Everyone can play. 205-562-3201. Old Colony is operated by Para.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny and very warm today. Tuscaloosa's high 89. Fair tonight, the low 64. Tomorrow and Thursday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine both days. A chance of widely scattered showers. The high tomorrow 85, the high Thursday 82. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 85 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, 10:51. We're back here on the Gary Harris Show. Gary Harris and Justin Jones. One more segment. You can call us on the Krispy Kreme Donuts hotline, 205-342-9904. In addition to everything that we've covered this morning, the SEC spring meetings get underway today down in Destin at the Sandestin Resort. And, of course, Greg Sankey, the commissioner, it's going to be a active spring meetings. There's no doubt about it, particularly when you consider the fact that this $2.8 billion settlement that's coming up and where we're headed with paying players, revenue sharing, NIL, what will that do to NIL, the portal, all these topics. They're going to be, there'll be other sports involved as well, but certainly the focus is always on football at these spring meetings. That's just the way it is. But coaches will be there, football and men's basketball coaches. And so we've got that to look forward to. I know Ryan Fowler is going to be down there with the game, so you'll want to tune in this afternoon to his show, certainly for coverage from the SEC spring meetings at Sandestin Resort. Also, I know one thing that they're going to discuss is the idea of possibly doing like the NFL does, or other sports do, professional sports. They're talking about the possibility maybe of doing injury reports or availability reports for different sports in the SEC. And that's something that certainly in the gambling era that we're in, I'm not sure all the coaches will be in favor of it. Some will be. Some have, I know Eli Drinkwitz has been a proponent of having a availability report for the different schools before each game. I don't know, too, what this is going to do with this $2.8 billion settlement and paying players, what that's going to do to the scholarships. Are they going to be increased? Obviously, baseball coaches want to increase their scholarship numbers, no doubt. And it would be great for Alabama and Auburn, which are lagging behind. from not having a lottery and not having any of the lottery scholarship available. So if you increase scholarships for baseball, that would help out everybody, but really help out Alabama and Auburn. You know, what's going to happen with walk-ons in football? There's a lot of discussion there about, are they going to increase the scholarship numbers from 85? Are they going to do away with walk-ons? There's just so many questions that are going to be asked at the SEC spring meetings. But as to, you know, what's going to actually come out of it, I don't know. Of course, there's the Jaden Rashada lawsuit against the University of Florida and head coach Billy Napier, who's now, Rashada now a backup quarterback at Georgia, but was once a Miami commit, then a Florida commit, wound up signing with Arizona State, was offered, he says, over $13 million to sign with Georgia. He claims that they were, with Florida, I should say, with Florida. And Rashada claims that they were nigged on that. You know, he's filed a lawsuit. So there, you know, these spring meetings, which there was a time when they really weren't even a media event. They were just spring meetings for the coaches and the administrators. And then I think, 30 years or so ago, maybe less than that, you know, a reporter or two started showing up. It still wasn't media friendly in the sense that media wasn't invited or credentialed. And, but a few reporters started showing up, and then more reporters started showing up. Of course, that's how it works. And the next thing you know, this has become a credentialed media event. And so now it's, in addition to the spring meetings for the players and for the coaches and administrators, you've got all this media down there covering this event. It's just crazy. It's crazy what is happening now with sports and with the SEC. So much going on this week. School's out, but sports isn't over. Baseball in the regional, softball in the College World Series, SEC spring meetings going on. We're going to have coverage for you all week here on the Gary Harris Show. All right, that's going to do it for the program. This hour has been brought to you by Patterson Comer Attorneys at Law. Reminder, catch me on TV tonight with the local sports and with Rodney Orr on Tider Insider TV at 6:30. And we will also have coverage, of course, tomorrow right on through the week with spring meetings and baseball and softball. All right, that's going to do it for the show. T-Town Sports Daily is coming up next at 11 a.m. with Justin and Wyatt Fulton. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you again in the morning at 9 a.m. on the Gary Harris Show.
Thank you for listening to